All right, let's get into the story we've been previewing. The ANC will today march to Tshwane House to highlight service delivery challenges in the city under the DA-led coalition. Meanwhile, the Metro is expected to hold a municipal council meeting to elect a mayor at Tshwane House today. DA caucus leader in Tshwane, Cllr Cilliers Brink, has written to the office of the Speaker to ask that the election of a mayor be postponed to a suitable day next week. Spokesperson for the multi-party coalition from the Freedom Front Plus, we've got Dr. Corné Mulder. Doc, great to have you. Thanks very, very much for your time.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
So earlier this week, the election of the Speaker had to be a rerun when ANC and EFF councillors seized the ballot box. So the ANC EFF candidate for Speaker was declared the winner after 69 votes that were cast for the contender, and that's Kolofelo Morodi of Action SA. They were declared as spoilt by the IEC. So your multi-party coalition says the coalition will come back to lead. What is happening in Tshwane?
Yes, I think it's very unfortunate. The fact of the matter is that the election result of November 2021 is what it's all about. The election result of November 2021 gave the multi-party coalition parties a clear majority. That will not change. Despite all the intimidation, despite all the shenanigans going on, that majority will stay for the next 5 years. That's what the electorate basically decided. So in terms of that election result, we've got a clear majority. The problem is that the ANC does not want to accept the fact that they've lost power, specifically in Tshwane and some of the other metros and stuff as well. Now, the problem is we are ready to get our people elected, both the Speaker and the Mayor. Now, you've just seen all the intimidation that took place and the shenanigans going on, people trying to prevent the election from taking place. So those kind of things don't create the problem, and we cannot accept that. So we are ready to do that, but the mere fact, why on earth would the ANC want to have a march today on the city of Tshwane, on Tshwane House, where the election is supposed to take place? That is completely unacceptable, and we cannot accept that.
But listen, I mean, Dr. Mulder, it just appears from what we've been seeing that it is an absolute shambles what's happening there. I mean, in Tshwane, there are recent pending cases. There's the multi-party coalition in the city of Tshwane. It said it has launched an investigation into the conduct of former chief financial officer after the Auditor General issued an adverse audit opinion for failing to account for millions spent on service delivery. That's Umabanda. Then there's the recent case of Murunwa Makwarela, who submitted fraudulent documents. So perhaps you can brief us on what's going on and say why you think, because the ANC are marching, it's unacceptable when there is so much happening there.
No, there's not so much happening in that instance. You must understand, when we came into power in 2021, we inherited a certain situation in terms of a very difficult financial position in the city of Tshwane. The city of Tshwane was under administration before we took power, so that was a completely different thing to handle at that stage. The position with Makwarela is something that nobody was aware of. We were not aware of that. If we knew that Makwarela was an insolvent person, we would never have supported him or elected him as Speaker. That information came to us only after he joined the ANC and became the Mayor. And we immediately acted on that, and luckily that is a saga behind us now. With regard to the Auditor General situation, that is something that we are investigating, and the relevant people will need to take responsibility both on the administrative side as well as the political side. And that is exactly why the executive mayor basically stepped aside. Randall Williams immediately accepted political responsibility. And we will get behind what exactly happened there in terms of involvement of the former chief financial officer, somebody that we didn't appoint, somebody that we basically inherited there. But the fact of the matter is the residents of Tshwane are entitled to good service delivery. That is what they're entitled to. And we are asking for the opportunity to be put in a position where we can do what is necessary in order to sort this out. The ANC with their march is not helping. You saw what happened in the election of the Speaker earlier this week. It's unbelievable. If you take the ordinary elections in South Africa, the IEC does not allow for any political activity before 2 days prior to the election. These elections take place in the middle of absolutely shocking interaction, intimidation, people being pushed around, trying to get rid of the ballot boxes, etc., etc. Why on earth would the ANC do that? Don't they respect democracy? That interaction is not from the opposition coalition side or the coalition multi-party coalition. This comes from the ANC throughout. And there's a reason for that. I believe that the premier of the ANC in Gauteng plays a pivotal role in this whole saga, unfortunately, and that's why the march is there today. Yeah. And he will be leading that march straight in there to intimidate and to make it impossible. I think a security assessment is absolutely essential. Also, councillors should be prepared to and be able to vote in confidence that they are not being intimidated. And then the whole the tragedy of the secret ballot. You know, the idea of a secret ballot is a very a noble idea, that people should be able to exercise their right in privacy. But it has become a cloak for intimidation. It's become a cloak for corruption, for money being passed under the table. Only yesterday, one of our councillors went to police and gave a complete description of what happened when he was offered 2 million rand to vote for Makorela. It's completely unacceptable, and that's the problem.
So, but you know, at the end of the day, it just seems as if instability is the order of the day. Moronwa Makorela was set to face a motion of no confidence tabled by members of his own coalition by refusing to convene a special council meeting to elect a new mayor following Randall Williams. You said it was a deliberate act by Makorela to have the municipality placed under administration by the provincial government, or a plot to have himself elected mayor in an ANC EFF-run municipality.
Exactly, and we were proven correct. He wasted my time on a personal level. I spent so much time trying to not convince him, explain to him the legal position and what he needs to do, but he was playing it both ways, and that is not something new. We saw exactly the same behavior from COPE in the city of Johannesburg, where they were part of the coalition, and then one Colleen Makubela was busy there with the ANC for their own personal sake to become the speaker of that council. So we had exactly the same situation. So I accept we are going through a difficult period because the ANC know that they don't have the numbers in the city of Tshwane to govern. They can do whatever they like. The parties that are together in that multi-party coalition does have the numbers to govern with a clear majority. So what they're now doing is something else. They use the opportunity with a motion of with a secret ballot to try and put pressure on certain individuals, make certain promises, certain enticements. That has happened. We've got proof of that. And then you've got certain individuals that are there only purely for themselves. So luckily, we don't need COPE. We don't need COPE anymore. We don't need their one vote. We don't want that because it's not necessary. We've got a clear majority without that. But it's part of a bigger strategy here. And the bigger strategy deals with 2024 election coming up next year. Yeah. The ANC is determined they need to hang on to control over the province of Gauteng. And the strategy is quite clear. In order to do so, they need to get control of the metros as well. And if you look at the 3 metros in Gauteng, there are different circumstances in each case. And why? For example, Ekurhuleni, we are governing Ekurhuleni as a multi-party coalition, but since day one, up to this very moment, we are a minority government in Ekurhuleni that can be toppled at any moment. And that's the reality. Why haven't we been toppled? Because the ANC and the EFF could not agree up to this point to do so. And they can't agree to do so because the EFF wants to govern Ekurhuleni and they need the ANC to vote for them. Yeah. The EFF at national level are not prepared to do so.
So you say the multi-party coalition won the election, but the IEC declared the 69 coalition votes invalid. Are you sure that you will make a comeback, which to be honest, is perpetuating the instability? I mean, is it possible that political parties will be able to lead the city effectively?
Yes, no doubt. There's no doubt. Now, if I say that we won the election, I'm specifically referring to the general local election in November of 2021. With regard to the election of Speaker, I think it was very unfortunate that the presiding officer, and remember now, the IEC as an entity are not responsible for elections of speakers and mayors. It's not their job to do that. What has happened was that there's a practice in Tshwane that they asked them to come and assist with the practical arrangements. That they can do, but it's a question mark whether it should be up to them to make a determination that we allow these votes, we don't allow these votes. What they should have done was, If they had a problem with those votes, they should have reported that to municipal manager and say, we've run this election, we have a question mark about this, that and the other, and you or the council should take a decision, what do we do or what we don't do. Just imagine, we are talking about a voters' roll there of 211 that voted. How on earth would 69, that's a third of the voters, make a mistake? No, they didn't make a mistake. They thought that they could legitimately do so. And they did that on the basis of some examples that were given by the IEC earlier in training to all parties in different circumstances.
Yeah.
So what should have been done, what should have happened was that the election should have been declared null and void. It should have been a rerun, but that was not done. And the shocking thing is this. If you've got a doubt in terms of the validity of any votes, then you also look at the question, would this make a difference in the outcome, yes or no?
Yeah.
The presiding officer went along and said, well, I disqualify these 69 votes, third of the ballots, but luckily it won't make any difference in the outcome.
Okay.
100% wrong. It made that exact difference.
Yeah. Final, and please, just very, very quickly on this one. The DA caucus leader in Tshwane, Cllr Cilliers Brink, has written to the office of the Speaker to ask that the election of the mayor actually be postponed to a suitable day, perhaps next week.
Yeah.
What are you expecting?
Yes.
Has this been agreed on, or is that election going ahead today?
We don't know. The coalition feels very strongly that we need to have an election in a safe, secure environment that is not under threat of a march to Tshwane House to come and intimidate, and we don't know what will happen in terms of safety. And we want that election. We are ready. We've got a majority. We've got our numbers. We've got our candidates. We want that election, but we ask that it be on Wednesday without a march, without intimidation, and we are ready to proceed.
All right, let's see what happens there. Spokesperson for the multi-party coalition, the Freedom Front Plus, Dr. Corné Mulder, on the ongoing developments in Tshwane.